Hey, Ryan here, setthepacetriathlon.com. We are going to jump in and do a live video. I know I haven't done one in a while, or if you catch us on the back end as we're recording, hey, welcome to the video. We're talking about IRONMAN Chattanooga, and we're talking about what you should be doing about 4 months out. The time of this recording, we're probably a little bit closer than 4 months, but I'm recording these for the future, so if you watch them later, this is where you should be about 4 months out, because everybody is always wondering. It's like, oh, here's what I'm doing for my ride this weekend. I'm doing 6 hours and an hour run. Whatever everybody else doing. If you're Joe Wilson, you're doing your 8-hour ride and your 4-hour run on your Saturday. Don't do that, whatever you do. And the swim is not canceled according to him. But anyway, he made it to my video in a mention only. But we're going to digress, and we're going to go jump right in, and we're going to talk about IRONMAN Chattanooga, the full distance of what you should be doing about 4 months out. So, all along, as you can see here in the background, let me see if I can adjust this a little bit so it shows up a little bit better for you. There you go. As you can see, we are live and making adjustments on the fly, so this helps you out. So what you got on the left is my advanced plan, pre-made in Training Peaks. So what I use for anybody kind of out on the street, it's very course specific. I've developed 3 main workouts or main training plans. I got beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Advanced is more distance, it's more speed, more intensity. Beginner is more you've never done an Ironman, maybe from couch to Ironman. This will get the job done and get you to the finish line, and you could probably get a little fitness out of it and do pretty well with kind of the beginner plan. But I want to show you the advanced on the left here on my screen if you're watching, and this is the left, and then to the right this is going to be the beginner plan. So you'll see a little bit, if you're finding yourself in between, I've got the intermediate plan on there as well. It's in Training Peaks, on the store on Training Peaks. You want to look it up. I always post links everywhere on my Facebook page and everywhere, so you can check them out if you want to. But this is where you're about 8-9 weeks into the plan. My plans are 24 weeks long, so if you're 4 months, about 16 weeks into it, you're about week 8, week 9. So if you're on the advanced end of things, notice your swims, you're still about 2K. Especially this takes into account that it's a downriver swim, so it's a little less heavy on the swim, more heavy on the bike, because it's not a difficult bike course, but it's challenging. There's some hills on there, and if it gets warm, it'll be challenging as well. And then we really focus on the runs. We get some strength in there for some hill work on the runs, because that is a very challenging course on the run, especially after a decent challenge on the bike ride. So light on the swims, so you can see the advanced on the left, the beginner on the right. Notice there is the beginning plan. Now I will say, let me make sure we got beginner on over here. So I will say the beginner plan, it's taking into account maybe if you don't have the swimming background and you need to kind of build up to that. So the advanced plan, you're focusing more on the bike and the run, to sharpen sword in that in a little bit, because you don't need the amount of time you can spend on the swim and try to improve. You may gain a couple minutes out of it for hours of trying to work an extra time in the pool. For the beginner plan, it's more so geared towards the kind of first time triathlete. Maybe you don't have any swimming background whatsoever, so you're gonna have a little bit more distance to get out there and get swimming and be able to get proficient in your swimming. So just take that into account, that you're going to see a little bit more distance at this point for the beginner plan, but there's a reason behind it, because I want you guys, especially the beginner triathletes out there, to develop a little bit more ability and capabilities and confidence in the water, so you got a little bit more volume on the water. But as you can see, for the advanced plan, your long bike is 50 miles. The beginner plan is about 35 miles, 2 hours, so 45-minute difference or something like that. Excuse me, give or take. On the advanced plan, you're kind of in a transition week, so you could, if you want to compare apples to apples, if you got into like a build week. And notice I've got different cycles for advanced and beginner plans. I have like 2 to 3 weeks where you're building, and then you get transition week to kind of absorb that, get adaptations from the training you do. Beginner plan, maybe you get 2 weeks, and then a transition week, then 3 weeks, or 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks for advanced. So just realize that it's not going to line up exactly. It's not a cookie cutter, here's a plan, and then I'm just going to fill in everything between. I very much go through my pre-made plans, very much geared towards course, very much geared towards the athletic fitness ability that they're getting into. So if you want to compare build weeks, you got some pull efforts for the bike, you got some cruise intervals here at the beginner plan. So again, you're focusing a little bit more, if you look at the hour time, you got 15 hours here for the advanced plan. Swim time, you're pretty comparable. Swim distance, you got a little bit more for the advanced plan for your build week. The transition week might be a little bit off because that's just kind of not a true recovery week, but it gets you a little bit less time in the pool so you can get a little bit of recovery. Bike duration, you're looking at 6 hours versus compared to 4 for the beginner. The distance, you're at 122 versus 80. Run distance per week, you're at 27 versus 27.5. So a little bit pretty close as far as the runs go. Long runs aren't too drastically different, but what you're going to be focusing on the advances, you got some threshold runs, you got some hill repeats. Whereas beginner plan, you got some tempo. We're not necessarily doing that high intensity threshold run work that really works at high end because, again, we're approaching it from your beginner, maybe from couch to Ironman. Definitely won't get you out there and get you injured on your first Ironman attempt. So the runs are dialed back just a little bit as far as intensity for the beginner plan. But once you get into a 65-mile bike ride, long distance, 35-ish for the beginner plan. And then for the long run, you're looking about 13 miles for the advanced plan, and you're about 10.5 miles for the beginner plan. So that's about where you should be when you're looking about 4 months heading into Ironman Chattanooga. It's at the end of September, and recording this video in 23, it's September 24th, 2023. So that puts you about the 9 to 10 to 8 week range into one of my 24 week Ironman training plans for Ironman Chattanooga. So I put these videos out just so you kind of have a good idea, a good gauge where you should be at. If you're on the pointy end of things and you're really a high performance triathlete, you're looking at about a 65-mile bike ride for long ride, and 13-mile run for the long run. If you're a beginner and you're working into it, 2 hours, 35 miles for your long ride, and about a 10.5 to 11 mile run on the weekend. And in between, most of my workouts are an hour to hour 20 minutes, kind of in the middle of the week. I try not to make any individual workout more than an hour, so that's kind of where you're at. But the intensity is going to be the difference between my beginner and intermediate and advanced plans. So make sure you pay attention to that, so that kind of helps you out as well. So this is just a flavor. 4 months out for Ironman Chattanooga. What should I be doing? Where should I be going? Where's my gauge at? If you need help, always look at my Facebook page. There's links everywhere to all my plans and everything. You go through, search through Chattanooga. It's not too late to jump in a plan. You're getting a little bit close to a point where it's going to be a drastic jump if you're not really doing concentrated training. You're thinking, I need to get ready for Ironman Chattanooga, or I want to do it. 4 months out, where should I be? This is kind of where you should be, and then make a smart, educated decision on what distance you actually need to do to get up to that point in a hurry. If you have any questions, as always, put them in the Facebook comments or in YouTube comments if you're seeing this on YouTube later. Give a like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. See future notifications. I'll do videos on 3 months out, 2 months out, a month out, race week, all that kind of fun stuff. So more videos coming out for Ironman Chattanooga. I've done the race now 4 times. I've done it when the swim was canceled. I've done it when it's 100 degrees. And I've done it when it's rained on us on a bike course. Pretty much the entire for 70 miles. So I've done it all at Ironman Chattanooga. I've not done every race. They started in 2014. I did it in the inaugural year, but I do like the course. I do like the venue. I do like the area. So put out the videos about it. So hopefully this helps you out. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get back to you, and we'll see you in the next video.